okay in this fight against Paul, who's 5-3-1 and 33 years old.
Shoulder to shoulder on the inside. Big uppercut. Witherspoon trying to shake it off. Took a few steps back. He's hurt.
Witherspoon was hurt when the contract was signed for that fight. He just didn't know it. There's no contest here. You have a green guy who's 34 years old in there with a guy who a few years ago was the best amateur in the U.S.
6'6" Moultrie Witherspoon, who played hoops most of his career, then turned to boxing, is getting a harsh dose of reality in that chamber of truth right now. The truth is, he's got a bloodied and battered face.
Well, the manager of Witherspoon, he's in the roofing business, and I think the ceiling's about to cave in on his boxing business.
Under a minute to go in round two, Witherspoon still on his feet, absorbing a lot of punishment with these headshots from Estrada. 45 headshots landed by Estrada.
Now again, you can see that Estrada, even though he's close to a knockout or a stoppage, he is not a banger. He's hit Witherspoon with enough clean shots. If he was a pure banger, and those bangers are born, they are not developed, then Witherspoon would already be gone. Give Witherspoon credit for one thing. He's too green to be in this fight, but his heart is keeping him standing.
He'd actually be better off against a big bomber if you just get him out there. He's taking so much punishment almost by the fact that he's not a big puncher.
Good point.
Coming to the end of two, all Estrada.
The winner of Europe's SUV of the year with 200.
Casino here in Rhode Island, and Jason Estrada, the local boy made good, is having a big night against Moultrie Witherspoon. Let's look back at the punishment he's been doling out.
Again, you can see Estrada, no problem getting inside and no problem using that uppercut to split the guard of the taller Witherspoon. Nothing keeping the shorter Estrada from getting close.
Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you ringside in Rhode Island. Jason Estrada, we've seen him many times throughout his career. He's rededicated himself this year, has the weight down, trying to concentrate a little more on sitting down on his punches and showing some offense and exciting the fans. And he has the right opponent in front of him. Easy pickings tonight with Moultrie Witherspoon, 6'6", lacks experience, late to the game. And an easy target so far for Estrada.
Well, some good news early on that I can see a little bit in the body language, a little bit in the wind, so to speak, is that after two tumultuous rounds where Estrada almost got Witherspoon out of there, Estrada is taking a deep rest. And he's taking a little rest this round. You can see it already. I don't need any more time to be able to understand that. He's decided to box a little bit, use his jab, and like I said, take a little bit of a rest. A little bit of a pit stop for Estrada. And a pit stop that Witherspoon is glad to get.
Estrada is trained and managed by his father, Dr. Roland Estrada. Took a lot of heat back after the 2004 Olympics with his disappointing result there. Teddy, we've had this discussion many times, but the weight issue of Estrada, he says, hey, I'm comfortable at 239. It feels, great. He's been as high in the upper 250s, but at what weight would he best be served in your eyes? You've seen him so many times.
Well, he's been at a much better weight in his last 5 fights when he's dropped down. I mean, a red light went off, definitely went off in the mind and heart of Estrada after his first loss when he was at the heaviest of his career. And he has dropped his weight since then to 239, 238 pounds, and he stayed right around that weight. Look, you look at his body, there's room to drop a little bit more, but you can't argue with that, at least at this weight, he's able to do what he has to do, and that's sustain punches, because he's not a banger. So he can't have a low punch count if he's going to be successful. He's got to throw a lot of punches to be successful and to get the job done. And that means he has to be in shape. Believe it or not, big punchers could be a little out of shape because they have that eraser, and they don't have to work all round long.
So after two brutal rounds where Witherspoon took a lot of punishment, the pace slows for him here in round 3.
Or get Pep Boys Summer Super Special. Tires from just $19.99. This week at Pep Boys.
To open up this week's Friday night fights. Now, Teddy, you made the point that it looked like he came off the gas pedal a lot in that last round. He did indeed statistically. First 2 rounds, 31 punches landed. Last round, they each landed 12.
And in the fight plan, stay in the fight plan, obviously we talked about Estrada just walking down Witherspoon. And we talked about Witherspoon, his chance would be there to stay on the outside, use the jab, keep distance, and look to set up that right uppercut, try to catch Estrada coming in right up the middle with that right uppercut. And that has been Witherspoon's best chance and only effective punch so far.
10-8 second round when Witherspoon was damaged badly.
Give credit to Witherspoon. You know, not only is he still there, some of it is because, as we touched on, Estrada took his foot off the gas pedal the last round, and he's not a big banger. But Witherspoon trying to use that right uppercut, and he lands right there.
He did indeed. Right uppercut landed for Moultrie Witherspoon.
And that's going to be the weapon that's going to give Witherspoon any little chance he has of pulling off it. Again, I would think would be just a unmatched upset.
Well, forget about the upset for a moment, and let me ask you about this. What about just surviving this fight? Would this be a disappointing outcome if Jason Estrada doesn't get rid of him? Doesn't Jason Estrada have to get rid of him?
If he wants to be a television fighter, a guy that people are going after, that the fans are going after. The fans are saying, hey, I want to mark down that I got to see him Saturday night or Friday night. Then I think he does. Because he has a green guy in front of him that with sustained pressure, sustained action, sustained offense, he can and probably should get rid of him.
His trainer, who's also his father, said, I want to see the uppercut left hook combination. Let's look for it.
Yeah, in other words, what the father's saying is, I know the uppercut can split the guard of Witherspoon, get his head up, and the left hook will chop it off. Once that head is up with the uppercut, put the hook right on that chin. And there it is.
Uppercut. Little late with the left hook.
Exactly right. The right uppercut, once it picks up that head, the head only stays up for a split second. The hook's got to be right behind it.
So he landed it twice there to close out this 4th round. When I'm 100% and I put forth that kind of effort, I am hard to beat. That was the case when he fought Lance Whitaker back in April. Tonight he really doesn't need to be 100% against Witherspoon, who's seemingly overmatched. But shocking almost in watching the first 2 rounds that he's still around in this fight. As you see his father, Dr. Roland Estrada, who told him, hey, you got to get rid of this guy. You have to do it with combination punching.
And on the outside, even though we've seen Estrada can be effective on the inside with the uppercut, splitting the guard of Witherspoon when Witherspoon just puts those hands up in an earmarked position. But I think with his separation, Estrada has a real good shot at landing something big. Probably a looping right hand over the jab of Witherspoon. In other words, he wants to get separation right now and hope the jab comes. And see if he can time that right hand over the jab. Because once those gloves come up on the inside, as you see there with Witherspoon, he goes into that survival mode. You know, that protective mode. It's hard to catch him something real clean. You want to catch him as he's taking a chance. Probably as he's jabbing on the outside.
Looping right hand, trying to get around that guard of that left hand of Witherspoon.
And the one thing that Estrada still has to be respectful of, I believe, is the right uppercut of Witherspoon as Estrada comes in. He must not come straight in, and he must not come in carelessly. He must come in behind the cover of the jab, like he just said, to make Witherspoon go defensive. And Estrada did a good job of getting in that time. Good fundamentals by Estrada. Not only has Estrada fought the much better opposition to pros, this is a guy who had 300 amateur fights, and many of them internationally against the best. Again, if Estrada's going to get the knockout, I think he's going to have to get it as Witherspoon's throwing, as Witherspoon is taking some kind of chance, probably with the jab. Because once he goes into that cover, like that, it's hard to get clean shots in.
Our heavyweight co-feature, they're scheduled for 8. And Witherspoon and Estrada coming to the end of 5. Estrada, of course, the hometown guy here in Providence, who back in 2004 was a U.S. Olympic representative. And look at the list of Olympians in the super heavyweight division dating back in recent years. And Estrada, of course, on that list. The problem is, Teddy, right on top of that list in 2008, you're going to be calling the Olympics on NBC, but you will not be calling a U.S. super heavyweight's name. We are not putting forth a super heavyweight. I mean, what is going on with U.S. amateur boxing that we cannot produce a super heavyweight to make the Olympics?
Man, it is a shock in a way. I mean, we have the best athletes in the world, and obviously one of the best boxing teams in the world with Cuba and with Russia, people would argue. But first of all, 2 reasons. One, this new set of rules. Back in the old days, going back a few years, you win the Olympic trials, you went to the Olympics, and we put a full team out. But now, you win the Olympic trials to have the right to qualify to make the Olympics. You have to go to qualifying tournaments, and you have to win in those qualifying tournaments. We did not have 2 of our members on the team win in the qualifying tournament. There's another reason, too, I think. In the old days, when you saw that list of the fighters that were okay and fairly successful super heavyweights, these were guys that started, Joe, when they were 11 years old. They grew into heavyweights. They had 200, 250, 300 amateur fights. They were really, really well developed and well experienced. Nowadays, you're not getting that many fighters that are starting that young and growing into heavyweights. You're getting bigger guys now that are coming into the gym when they're 17, 18, and picking up the gloves late. And even though they're good athletes, they don't have the experience that these other athletes have that started young, and the ones that years ago, by the time they were 18, they had 150, 200 fights. So now you're getting big guys that say, hey, yeah, I'll try it out in the heavyweights, but they don't have the amateur background.
Round 6 here between the heavyweights opening up Friday night fights. Moultrie Witherspoon, who took to the game late. He was a basketball player, played college hoop. And Jason Estrada, who had loads of amateur experience before he represented Team USA in 2004. Estrada's been in complete control so far tonight.
If Estrada's going to get the knockout, I think that's what we're all looking for here. I mean, that's the only thing that's undecided so far. It looks like he's going to come on the inside. I think the best shot is on the outside, like I said. If he could entice Witherspoon into a jab and time that jab with the right hand. But on the inside, it's going to have to come, I think, from a body shot a la the old Tyson. You know, one of those body shots show around the elbow, and then an uppercut up the middle, and then something up top, on top of that uppercut.
There's another uppercut by Witherspoon instead. Glad you're with us here for Friday Night Fights presented by Just for Men Hair Color. 8 rounds of heavyweight action to start our night. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas ringside. Brian Kenny and Timothy Bradley, the new champ in studio tonight. Still to come, Aaron Williams, a very good-looking, unbeaten cruiserweight, takes on Jose Luis Herrera, who's never had a fight go the distance. So it should be an interesting one tonight in our main event.
Joey, while you were just going over that, Estrada just landed a couple really clean uppercuts. And if I'm in the corner of Estrada, I'm just going to tell him one thing at this point. I'm going to tell him, okay, when you get inside, you can't miss with that uppercut. I mean, you know, Witherspoon is like He's got an X on his chin to eat that uppercut. You just can't miss him. The only thing you got to do, and again, you see him land, the only thing you have to do is throw that uppercut and make sure you put a hook on top and a right hand behind the hook.
Just lost his mouthpiece in Witherspoon, so those uppercuts are going to rattle around among the dental work. End of 6.
What your engine feels, you feel. And when it's running clean,
Place next weekend.
Come in, go to the body, beautiful right uppercut, but the left hook a little late. Again, great left uppercut there, but no right hand up top. If there's something up top this round, it's probably the last round we'll see.
Round 7. Witherspoon has gained a little bit of confidence as he's gone deeper, gone into survival mode. He's put forth some offense of his own, but just to be sticking around here after the way this night started. Good enough for Witherspoon. Total headshots, you see a 110 to 62 advantage for Estrada.
You know, we shouldn't lose track of and give mention of that, yeah, the knockout hasn't come yet, but the beating has come.
Oh, it has, no doubt about it. He's absorbing a lot of punishment. These are the kind of fights that really do damage to a guy, is when you don't get taken out. 60 to 53 on Teddy's scorecard. The 10-8 second round, he never went down. He just took so much. Badly beaten in that second round.
And again, the only thing Estrada has to be careful for is he doesn't get so overconfident. See, there's the left hook on top of the uppercut. He just has to be careful he doesn't get so overconfident he eats the right uppercut. That's the only danger that Witherspoon possesses.
He took another big left hook right there. Blood splattered across the ring. Big right uppercut, and the left hook knocks out the mouthpiece. And now Estrada looks to finish it, and he does. Joey Lupino says that's enough. Witherspoon just damaged too badly.
Well, I guess we're not going to be talking about the upset of the century at the end of tonight. That will have to be made Douglas and Tyson.
So Jason Estrada finally finishes off Moultrie Witherspoon. After Witherspoon absorbed 126 headshots, not even finishing 7 full rounds. And let's look how Estrada finished things off here, Teddy.
And we were calling for it. We said, we know the uppercuts working, but put left hooks, put something up on top of those uppercuts. Well, you got the very end of it there, but before that, you had some left hooks up top. You're going to get some more action here. The mouthpiece goes flying. More uppercuts and looping right hands go flying. And the referee says, no, let's take another look. A right hand over the jab. Again, the right uppercut. You can see the body language of Witherspoon. He looked at the referee, and you can see he was being beaten down in every sense.
For the official particulars, we send it to the ring to John Vina.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 38 seconds of round number 7. Referee Joey Lupino stops the contest. For your winner by technical knockout, Jason Big Six Estrada.
If there are any more former basketball players out there that want to fight Jason Estrada, he's willing to fight you. 6'8" Lance Whitaker goes away. 6'6" Moultrie Witherspoon exits in round number 7. Jason Estrada, win number